Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
Yeah. Hello. We are jumping on live. It is Sunday, September 8th at about 5 o'clock.
4:59.
Yeah. It's kind of an odd time to go, but our house is currently empty right now.
Right.
Do you want to tell them why?
Well, our
I'm
son,
going to get this shared
our
out.
son and his wife moved into the house. Their house that they were renting was sold, so they moved in here for a little bit till they found a place. So we've had a house full of kids. So there's not a lot of days that we have it to ourselves for a few hours, which isn't a bad thing, to be honest with you. We enjoy having them around, but we felt that maybe this would be a good time to go live because we've been busy. So
We've actually
here we are.
had a lot of time where we're not here or they're not here.
But yeah,
Last weekend, Labor Day weekend, was like we sat down to have dinner on like Friday night, and Taylor and I both looked at each other and we were like, I think this is the first time we've had dinner together
in a while. Yeah,
in quite a while.
right.
But Craig and I have had a lot going on.
Right.
And so we just wanted to kind of jump on quick tonight, kind of give you some updates on, the kids being here and some other things that have been happening. So do you want to get things started or do you want me to or not? I don't know.
Okay. A lot of people have been praying for us.
Yes. And we really, really appreciate that. It means
we do.
the world
we
to
do.
me.
It's been an experience. I guess we'll just start from the beginning. Probably about a month ago.
6 weeks.
6 weeks, probably 6 weeks now. Tanya had a cough since about June and went to the hospital and
The doctor's office.
well, the doctor's office is in the hospital.
I know.
But anyway, went to the doctor's office and they thought it's probably bronchitis. We'll take a chest x-ray. They took an x-ray and it didn't come back looking good. So they thought, well, must be it's pneumonia. Sent her to a CT scan. Found a bit more than pneumonia. She had some swollen lymph nodes. She also had some nodules in her lungs. And, you read the report and it's, talking about malignancy and cancer. And so that was a very difficult time. A lot of tears, a lot of questions, a lot of research by my part on what do we do to fight this if this is what it is. And we ended up going to a lung specialist.
But that took 2 weeks.
That took a while. Yeah, it just takes a while to get a lot of appointments and try to figure out what's going on.
Yeah.
So we went to a lung specialist and he wanted to find a way to be less invasive to get biopsies in the lungs. So he was hoping to find one out. So he wanted to do a PET scan first.
He also backed off on the malignancy thing. He said, this is not definitively
cancer. Let's look at all the other things first.
He wanted to keep an open mind about infections and other possibilities. And so that kind of put our mind at ease a little bit because we thought that's what we were dealing with. So very kind man, very nice man, definitely a godsend that it was his second day of work in Williamsport. But really, really, really liked him a lot. So that was the first God provision that he gave us, a really, really good doctor. And then
they went ahead and they did the PET scan, and the nodules that were in the lungs did not light up.
No.
But the lymph nodes did, so it could be cancer, it could be some other things, is what they were thinking. So,
fun fact: it does not mean it's cancer when they light up. It could just mean it's an infection.
Right.
So, just that was something I have learned through this process that that's not what that means.
So then they found one that was under her sternum that they thought they could get to rather than going into the lungs. So what they did was they set us up for an echocardiogram ahead of time because they wanted to go. They originally thought they had to go into the lung to get the biopsy. And then they figured out they might be able to not so we talked to them about the echocardiogram that they wanted to give us ahead of time, and we thought, well, do we want to do that? Do we need to do that? And we decided to just go ahead and do it. She thought they meant EKG, which she'd had before, but it really wasn't an EKG, it was echo. So she thought
echo is actually an ultrasound of your heart. Again, fun fact, didn't know. So we show up for the appointment. We almost canceled it because they thought they were not going to do a
bronchostomy or something like
that. And then a scope. So whatever those two words together make, that's what it was. But we went to the echo. I was feeling fine. Meaning...
Well, you were not feeling fine.
Okay.
For 2 days, she was having trouble breathing, but she assumed it was...
Because it was
it was very humid that week.
Yeah, and I was really having a lot of trouble breathing.
Right.
During the humid days that we had, and I just thought it was the humidity. So we get to the echocardiogram, and the ultrasound tech was an older woman who was almost military-esque, is how I would describe her. She
not a bad thing.
Not a bad thing, but she wasn't warm and fuzzy.
Right.
She was like, I was like, well, it kind of hurts to lay on my left side. She's like, you got to lay on your left side. I need to see this, blah, blah, blah. So she starts doing her thing, and she's quiet, but she wasn't like a personable lady, and I was not feeling that great, so I just laid there. Craig didn't say anything. I just kind of closed my eyes, didn't even think anything about it. Next thing I know, she's like, okay, I'm going to go show these, and I'll be right back. And she left. She didn't tell me to get dressed. Did she tell me to get dressed? I think
she didn't. No, she didn't. She did tell you to get dressed.
Anyway, she left the room, came back 5 or 10 minutes later. She's like, I'm taking you to the ER. You have fluid around your heart, and you're probably going to have an operation today.
So, and then Tanya's like, well, you need to contact my lung guy. She's like, honey, this is much more important right now than talking to your lung doctor. So she rushed us over to the ER where there were doctors.
She didn't rush us. She walked us in a wheelchair.
She didn't hesitate. She didn't fill it out pepper. She just got it and
pretty much told us,
we're going to the ER now.
This is more important than anything else.
Okay, she wasn't running down the hall, but she didn't stop to talk to anybody. Let's just say it that way. So we went to the ER, and there were nurses there, doctors there.
She had called over there already.
They were already, putting things on Tanya and asking questions, and they
kept saying this word window patient.
Window patient. Yeah, so they took her into the ER, and
another God provision that day was I had drank a smoothie in the morning, so they were comfortable doing the operation at about 2:00 in the afternoon.
Right.
Our appointment for the echo was at 11. So had I eaten a big breakfast, or had we gone out to breakfast ahead of time, that operation may have gotten pushed farther out. So another God provision that we saw in all of this is that I had just had a smoothie that morning.
And it's a good thing we did go to the appointment, because it would have been bad if we wouldn't have noticed that. It probably would have been
literally
a very dangerous situation in the middle of the night.
Going to that. Yeah.
So, but it wasn't long after we got to the ER. They took her into surgery. They call it a window. What they do is right along her sternum. They cut that open so they could put a scope or something through there. I'm not sure if it was the scope or what it was, but they cut along her sternum, and then they cut a hole below that went up through her diaphragm into that she could drain her heart. So they had a tube up into her chest tube into her heart, and they had this opened up. So they stitched that up. It didn't take
I think I was waking up from the anesthesia around 4:30.
I can't remember, but
so it didn't take very long.
When I got there, she was in a lot of pain, and she was having trouble breathing. We did have an app that she has that has some comforting music and stuff. She was trying to listen to that, but she wasn't in a lot of pain, and they were still draining the fluid out of the heart. So they got what they said about a can of soda worth of fluid from around her heart, and there was probably another can that came out while the tube was in.
That was another 24 hours later.
Right. So she was in the hospital
in
for
ICU.
that night, and then the next 2 days, right?
Well, the next day, they had seen fluid in the bottom of my lung, so they took me in for a different procedure where they drained fluid off that lung, and that lung they got basically double
what they got
off my heart. Yeah. So again, the God thing, I was already in the hospital, like they were able to drain that and get that off, so that once they got that off, I could tell a noticeable difference in how I could breathe. They also were giving me breathing treatments in the hospital.
And so what people don't know is that there's like a sheath around your heart, like a membrane, and the fluid gets stuck between that membrane and the heart. So the more that's in there, the more pressure's on the heart. So it's harder for it to beat and things like that. But they tested everything with her heart, and that was all good. So they got it soon enough. And the same thing around the lung. That's where they got it from. But they did that, and then they sent the fluid away to get that tested, and we were hoping that they would figure something out before they had to do the bronchoscopy.
Yes.
Bronchoscopy, I think is what it is. We were hoping they'd find something on that, regardless of what it is, because it's been a long process, and we just want to know, what it is. We've prayed a lot about it. We've had a lot of people praying for us about it. But after having that, they did not feel safe about going after the one under the sternum because of the heart thing that they had. So they decided they were going to go inside and get the bronchoscopy. They're going to do biopsy. So
they did that less than a week after the other one. When they did the bronchoscopy, they took fluid from the lymph nodes in 3 different areas, and they took 2 samples from each. So they took 6 different samples from the left, the middle, and the right.
And that was a rough time because she was, and it's tough for her because she doesn't do well under anesthesia. So she was anxious going in, and then after the anesthesia, she wasn't feeling well, and her emotions, it's tough. She doesn't do well with anesthesia, so it was tough. The results, when they were coming back, we refused to look at them on the phone because the mind would just go everywhere if it does. You know what I mean? I'm the type of person that I got to research everything when that comes up. So
we waited for the doctor to call us.
Yeah. Well, actually, we had an appointment the next day, but he called us
Thursday night,
and
last week.
Yeah. Basically said that the biopsies didn't show anything. They didn't show any type of cancer. They didn't show any type of... the infection they're still waiting on. I don't think all of that's in. We just got one yesterday, I think, that was Legionnaire that came back negative. So everything so far has come back negative. Now they've told us that... And
they've tested for a lot of things.
Yeah, and they've told us that the biopsy, it's a small sample. It might not necessarily, pick up cancer if there's that. We're looking at it as a positive thing for prayer. You know what I mean? That God's, working through people and prayers to keep giving us good news. So this week they wanted to take a lymph node out.
I'm going to test
Tissue. So
instead of just liquid.
She did develop one on her collarbone that was big enough. They didn't know if they could get a sample from it before, but it seems to be a little bit bigger now. So we went into the doctor thinking that he was going to remove that this week, but he said it's in a place where he doesn't want to just, he can't do that in just the office. So next Thursday they're going this coming Thursday, they're going to take that out and they're going to biopsy that. Well, they're going to, cut it open, get tissue samples and things like that. So they'll check all that out. We're still, believing God's going to prevail in this, and, the power of prayer. But it's been tough emotionally, going up and down. I mean, before we had the biopsies and stuff, you try to think positive, and
And we did. We tried to keep a positive mindset.
We tried to still joke around and have fun, and we didn't tell a lot of people because we didn't know what it was, and also, you know, when you say something like that, then there's, you know,
it causes trauma to other people because of what they've already been through with somebody else in their family or that's close to them.
We didn't want to put the burden on other people, but, you know, we came to realize that, you know, people want to go through that with you, so we probably should have told people sooner than we did. But I mean, that's where we're at. We're going to get that done this week, and the process is hard because emotionally, you know, you hang on strong, but then you have your down days where your mind just, you know, you get in a sad place, and, you know, you think of the what ifs, and, you know, it can go to a dark place sometimes, but you stay positive. You know, we praise God through all of this, you know what I mean? We understand that, you know, God doesn't bring negative things into people's lives, you know what I mean? So,
and we have seen God's provision.
We have.
In the fact that we did go to the echo, that could have been a lot worse in an emergency situation. Right. We've had great nurses and doctors. There's only been one doctor that I was like,
but it wasn't to you.
I like him, but I didn't like the way he was treating his coworker. What I didn't like. His assistant. It wasn't really the way he treated me, although he treated me kind of gruffly, but I didn't like the way he was treating his coworker.
But overall,
all the other nurses and doctors have been amazing.
Yeah.
You know, there's been, just like Craig said, most days I'm able to just like, hey, I'm going to live life. I'm healthy and strong. Like I tell myself I'm healthy and strong. Mm-hmm. We've changed. He made me stop eating sugar. So sugar has been out of my life now for 6 weeks. Except for every once in a while I sneak a little bit of dark chocolate, but not very often. So basically I don't eat very many carbs either because they can turn into sugar. He's also done a lot of research on supplements, so I'm on lots of different supplements, things like higher vitamin C content and green tea extract and zinc and quercetin and things like that. That he has researched that just basically help my immunity, help my body fight whatever is happening. And, you know, just that. We've also gotten into grounding, which...
The grounding sheets that we plug into the... Yeah.
Well, before that, I was going outside and just sitting outside with bare feet in the sunshine. All of those things are good for our bodies on any kind of level. But, like, when you're not feeling good, sunshine just feels amazing. The other thing in all of this is like I needed a way to like quiet my mind, so I reached out to a friend of mine that's a Christian psychologist and asked if there were any apps. So I found this app. It's called Glorify. It reads scripture out loud to me, goes through a little devotional, and then it's like a Christian meditation. And I have found that meditation especially has really helped like calm my mind, help me relax. It's helped me go to sleep a couple of times. A lot of times I'll use that while I'm outside grounding. I'll listen to that. And, you know, whether you believe in meditation or not, like calming your mind and keeping your mind in check is probably one of the best things that you can do for yourself in any kind of difficult situation. So I have really found a lot of peace and relaxation from that. And have used that to our advantage a couple of times when, you know, you just kind of feel out of control. So, which, you know, this has been such a huge curveball for us that, you know, it's been hard because I'm usually the one taking care of him. Right. And he has to take care of me. And
so it's
been an interesting ride
in
our marriage.
Yes, it's been
because we've had like this role reversal.
It's been a growth process because we're in the most uncomfortable spot. I mean, if it was the other way around, we'd be much more comfortable.
Both of us would feel more comfortable.
Because I hate seeing her go through that. I'd rather go through it myself, and she is more of the nurturer.
And I hate seeing him having to take care of me. I'd rather be taking care of him. So
I will be honest, she actually, I don't know if I should say this or not, she actually got very upset with me at the hospital. And it was the day that was very emotional because she was going under to get the biopsies. But like I was waiting for the surgery, and it took longer than we thought it would. We thought she'd be in there about 45 minutes. Ended up being about 2 hours, and I didn't get lunch because I was waiting. I was just thinking they're going to call at any time. She was very upset with me, and she's like, "You have to take care of yourself so you can take care of me." Yeah, and I didn't really think about that. I just thought, hey, it's just a little bit longer, this and that.
Whenever he's been sick, I make sure I take care of myself so that I'm healthy and strong to take care of him. So whenever you're going through something, I just want you to remember that. Like, you have to take care of yourself first so that you are strong enough. It's like that whole old adage where you have to put the gas mask on in the airplane first and then you help the child. You're not a child. But it's the same concept. And like, Craig is such a giving and merciful and just like such an amazing person that he never puts himself first. And so I kind of yelled at him pretty harshly the one day because he wasn't taking care of himself. He wasn't making sure he ate or drank. While I was in surgery, it would have been easy for him to just like step in the bathroom or go get something to eat or whatever. But he was so worried they were going to call him. I'm like, you've got your cell phone right there. They can call your cell phone. You're not that far away.
And I'm the one that's in the waiting room looking at the sign every 3 minutes to see if she's had a surgery and wondering what's going on. And
But yeah, so that's my advice as a caretaker. If you're a caretaker, make sure you're taking care of yourself. So.
Yeah.
So we are at this point where we don't really know where we're at.
Right.
I am starting to feel better. I'm still weak and I get tired easily. For me. So I have to take it easy, which is again not what I'm used to or what is normal for me. So I just have to kind of realize what my body can do at this time in my life and where I'm at right now. I do feel like the nutritional support and the supplements maybe are helping out some. I don't know if that's what it is or if it's just that I had gone through 2 surgeries within less than a week and my body just is now finally recovering more. So, but that's where we're at.
Yeah.
So in the midst of all this, on Friday, you want to tell him?
On Friday, yes, I sold my old faithful truck that I've had for a long time.
The one that everybody's seen driving around town for the last 10 or 12 years.
Yeah, it's been a great truck. It really has. And I thought, I've been back and forth for like a year or so if I should get another one or if I should just drive this one until it dies. It's been a good truck. I wasn't really afraid of it breaking down and stuff, but we've done more traveling with this and that, and we just felt like, hey, we need to get one, and I'm getting closer to retirement. We want to make sure that we have something before I go and not have to at the last minute get a vehicle right after I retire. So Friday I took a personal day, and my mother I took with me to Pittsburgh. So I drove to Pittsburgh because Tanya found this truck on the internet.
I did.
That was perfect. It is basically the same truck. Mine was a 2006. This is a 2014, but it's another Honda Ridgeline, and I think it has low mileage. It's 70,000 miles, which I think is low for a Honda. You know what I mean? Some people are like, that's almost 100. Well, the last one I bought had 80,000 on it when I bought it. Now it has 235, and it still runs
We just drive our vehicles for a long time.
Right. So yeah, we went and got a new vehicle. So
you did. I didn't go along, but he did.
No.
He loves it. So
I do. It's a great.
If you see the old one driving around Canton, it's not Craig.
Right.
So you have to try.
I've got to get some.
He's got to find some kind of decal for his.
I did. I contacted Moose's by email. I want to get something in the back window that identifies it as my vehicle. So yeah, just a little personal touch to it. So yeah, that's where we're at. So,
yeah.
But
they always say don't make big decisions in the midst of a crisis, but we really have been.
But we've
back and forth about a new truck for him and what we were going to do
for a little
with
while
him being retiring in the next 5 years and
right
how we were going to handle that with a vehicle for him and things like that. So it's Even though it seems like a quick decision, and his truck sold in less than 12 hours, and we bought this other one in less than 36 hours. It really has been a decision that we've been discussing and contemplating for quite some time. So, so yeah.
But in the whole process, you know, not just the truck, everything we've gone through, it's kind of, I don't know, it kind of gives you a different perspective. You know what I mean? You kind of realize what things are really important and what aren't. And I was kind of going back and forth if I was going to be able to continue to coach, and if I was going to have to, take off, work, depending on, what news we got. But I'm still coaching. I'm, still in the classroom. I have, taken off for some appointments, but...
And you've had people step in and help with the coaching.
Yes, I have.
Substitutes help with teaching and things. Yeah. So
everybody's
we're very grateful
for
all
been
of that.
gracious, and we've had a lot of support, and we really appreciate that. And it makes you realize who really, sometimes you wonder if people, really appreciate you, but they do. They just, in the times like this, they step up and sometimes you don't notice it because everybody's just so busy in life. But I like the communities that we surround ourselves. I can't, and Troy's the same way. You know what I mean? And any other small communities around here, when things are needed, people step up and people help, and we really appreciate it. Appreciate all the prayers. It's been phenomenal, and we felt them. You know what I mean? It's not like we hear everybody praying, but we can feel the support through the prayers. We really can. Yeah.
So that's our update.
Yeah.
Probably not what you were expecting.
Yeah.
Unless you live around here and heard kind of rumblings that something might be going on.
Right. And again, we tried to keep it quiet because
initially Carter was away and my parents were away when we first got the news, so we
didn't want to
really kept our circle very, very small. But we are really open books, as you guys know. Like, we come on here and we share our life, and so we wanted to kind of just make sure that you guys we don't keep things from you, I guess I should say. We did this for a little while. We still don't know what we're dealing with exactly, what the road looks like ahead of us, but I don't think any of us do on a regular basis. Right. It's just that, when you're dealing with something like this, you feel that a little bit more, like you don't know what the road looks like ahead of you. But honestly, every day, we don't know what the road looks like ahead of us any given day. So I would just say, we cover your prayers. If you think of me, pray for me. If you think of Craig, pray for him. If you think of our children and grandchildren, pray for them. They really, honestly, the boys have been amazing through this.
Mm-hmm. I will say, when we went in to see the doctor, the boys went in with us.
I invited them to be as much a part of the process as they want.
And the doctor, to be honest, it was very touched. He said, "You don't realize how amazing that is to have, your kids there with you when you're going through things like this." And it really touched him. It did.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that's where we're at. We will jump on and update you as much as we can when we have an empty house. I will say an update on that. My parents have bought a flip house in Mansfield that needs renovated. So the kids are most likely going to buy that from them once they get it flipped. So we're still looking at October, November, probably till they move back out. But it's been really fun to get to see the grandkids, especially in the morning. They got their hair all wonky, and you walk up the steps, and they're like, "Good morning, Yaya,"
And we'll miss them when they're gone.
We will.
You know what I mean?
We definitely will. It's been also a God provision that they've been here.
Right.
To just be around and make us laugh and just help out with little things. as we're helping them out with little things. So
Yep.
that's where we're at.
It
How are we going to
is.
end this? You got any ideas?
I don't know, honey. I don't know if there is a good way to end it. We planned on doing one of these, like for our church, and we were looking into doing that, and then this kind of happened. So eventually we're going to do, something with the church, a podcast with the church, and we like doing this, and we'd like to do it more, but there's a reason we haven't, and it's not because we're lazy about it. There's just been other things going on that were, more important at that point. So, but we appreciate being able to come on and, share and we'll plan on coming on and sharing more good news.
That's right.
The prayers and everything that we're going to get through this and have a testimony, that God prevails. So.
Yeah. So, all right. So we end it then?
Yep. Shadow jumped up here, so it must be time to end.
Time to go. All right, guys. Thank you so much. We'll update you when we can. And everybody have a great Sunday evening and a great start to your week. See ya.